Hello and welcome to week 9 here in sociology and technology. And an apology for last week and not having these videos out. I had some technical difficulties here. All repaired, all better to go. So, chapter 9 comes along and we're talking about the internet. This thing that we created largely to protect government data, but has grown into a international phenomenon. And so, taking a deep dive into that, I introduced you and asked you to discuss. I wish I could just assign the book because The Shallows, the book, don't mistake it. There's actually, I think, a horror movie called The Shallows. So if you just look up The Shallows, I think you're going to get that. But The Shallows, what the internet is doing to our brains, is um, a vital critique of the dangers of the immediacy of rewards that we get from having access to the world's largest encyclopedia of data that is not necessarily screened. So we have access to crappy data just as much as we have access to good data. And what does it mean? Not only that component about, understanding what's good data and not good data, but the immediacy of it. What I would like you to think about is, let's say you're sitting around the dinner table and someone, you're talking about your favorite movie, and someone says, who was the person who played the star's enemy in that movie? And everybody starts racking their brains and stuff like that. And it used to be this, that could get stuck in your head. I mean, just thinking about that, and you're thinking about that, exercising that brain, trying to come up with the name of the actor who played the enemy in the movie. No more. We ask that question now. We are very impatient. We take out our phones and we look it up. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But if we scale that up to and understand the impact of that, is the process of racking my brains trying to come up with something in my memory has long been thought as a very, very useful effort, exercising our ability to recall memories. Now, being able to recall the name of that actor is not necessarily something that's, life changing or anything like that. But when we're recalling trivial matters, we're working the same processes that allow us to memorize and understand concepts that are important to our lives. And so the questions that are asked within that book are those kinds of questions. To what degree is the immediacy of the availability in our hand 24/7, basically, to be able to access information fairly effortlessly? What does that have? What is the impact on our cognitive development? This was a book that froze me in my tracks. I use a lot of technology. I'm a big technology buff. And I'm going to tell you, I read this book over the summer and I had sort of an identity crisis. Am I heading people in the wrong direction here? Am I, is this these expectations to use tools, let alone this is the AI is just emerging at that point. And like, am I structuring my teaching in a way that is actually destructive to people's cognitive development? I went through, it was a rough summer. I came to peace with it, and I certainly am very cognizant of the design of my classes and that they're online, that I try to make the content relevant so that individuals are not just popping up answers to questions that they can look up. Certainly digging into things. I ask for people's thoughts and processes a lot because I don't want just, the data from the internet. I want you to process it, think about it, and deliver it in a way that's personal. That's kind of my way to avoid people taking my classes and not really thinking a lot. So, successfully or not, that's certainly my effort. So in discussion A, there's 2 discussions this week. In discussion A, discussing those concepts, reading what I wrote about in the attention section where I introduced the book, The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains. I would urge you, all of you who are in technology, I would urge you to get that book. Not that you'll have the same epiphany that I did, not that it's going to stop you in your tracks, but wow, there's all kinds of research in there that is actually from the European theater of psychology, which took a dive at this decades ago, looking at technology's effect on our cognition. Not only the web, but even, now that we have software on our computers sometimes where we just, to get rid of the distractions. I don't want my email popping up and telling me I have an email message here, things like I got a video going over here. We know now, based on that research that was done, that is not productive. So even within our programs, we have the ability to isolate what I'm doing so I can focus without distraction. So an important part of that book is also how distracting our devices have become. Need I tell you any more? Go ahead and participate in that discussion. The next one is I put a link to the Pew research that was done on the opportunities and challenges involved in a digital future. We're really kind of looking at, the Internet of Things. We're looking at the different uses of the Internet. Certainly AI becoming, we're going to get into that specifically coming up here. But a further discussion, but looking at the Pew research on that. And then for the quiz, I want you to go and take the Internet Addiction Test. Now, this is not a clinical diagnosis. If you are addicted to your devices or addicted to the internet or to social media, you probably already know it. You probably already know that you're addicted. But you go to take that test. Now, the link to the Pew research, okay, and the link to this test is in the course book. So here I have, this is the assessment section here for Chapter 9, and there's the question for complete the Internet Addiction Test. And if you go back here, quite a few pages, there's the InstaRead Shallows, right there, on page 150. Click on that. Let's open that up. Here we have an Internet Addiction Test. You just print this out, and then you score yourself. It gives you the whole score, how to score yourself. This is, there was a meeting coming up that I'm missing. That's cool. See? That was distracting. What an opportunistic thing. So I have, this is funny. I have the Outlook open on my laptop over here, and when the meeting came up, it popped up. And here I am trying to record a video, and boom, it gets right in my way, distracts me for a moment. Right there. What a great example of what we're talking about. So here we have 20 questions. You're going to rate it on this scale right here. 0, not applicable, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've seen, this is called the Likert scale, the name for this kind of thing. And you just put how many points you would have, how many 5s, how many 4s on all of these. How often do you lose sleep due to being online? Those kinds of things, frequently, often, always, this kind of thing. And then there's interpretive scores at the end. So what I'm asking you to do is answer there's a quiz question. It's not an essay, but give me your score, share with me your score, and what you think about it. Having a high score doesn't mean you're not managing it well. It's sort of like taking a stress test. If you're using a lot, but you're compensating for that, maybe it's in a good balance. But at the same time, often the time, the whole internet, everything in the web is created to attract our attention and give us that immediate reward. It's hard to not get sucked down these rabbit holes that we get into. When I'm doing research for videos and stuff like that, I can sometimes lose a whole day. It's very, very frustrating. I feel very awful. I feel physically awful. My eyes are all weird and stuff like that when I get caught in those rabbit holes. So I actually set a timer. And then when that timer goes off, I have to stop, get up, go look at the graphics out there. They're awesome out in nature. And, then come back and maybe do some more research after that. Anyway, that's the stuff for this week. So we have the internet addiction test for the quiz, 2 discussions, 1 reflecting on the content of the shallows, and the second one reflecting on the content of the Pew Research on the digital future. So we'll get into those things. I'll see you online. Enjoy these assignments. I think they're really kind of fun to learn and reflect on ourselves. And I will see you online. Take care.